Okay, so hey folks, Assalamu alaikum. This is a new series of Azure Mania. So today we are basically going to learn about connecting Azure Virtual Network with Vnet Peering. So yeah, we are basically using Cloud Academy Labs. So let's get started. I've already logged in and let's understand a scenario so that we can learn why we need Vnet Peering. Okay, why we need Vnet Peering. That is very important. So imagine that each department in your company has their own Azure subscription and manages their own virtual network in Azure. Okay, so all subscriptions are assigned to the same Active Directory tenant. There is also a virtual network that contains resources that are to be shared by all departments. Rather than making resources accessible over the internet, which increases security, the resources in the shared virtual network are only accessible with Azure. So what are we talking about? So let's understand. Okay, so what has been said is, maybe assume that this is maybe an Azure space like for your company. Okay, so I'm just assuming your company name is XYZ, and for XYZ this is the Azure portal or anything. Okay, so you basically have, your team has basically department, like assume that there are three. One is developer, one is operations, one is maybe debugging team, and so on. Okay, so these are basically department. Okay, just for the sake of understanding, these are not any realistic image. Okay, they have their own virtual networks as well. We're making it you can understand by these. Okay, no issues. Now what has been said is, assume that there is some sort of virtual machine as well, which has some resources. Now the thing is, and everyone need to access that. Okay, now there are few ways to get actually access it. Okay, now one of the ways are to make it public. Okay, so how can you make it public? So what is making something public? So maybe you are use GitHub, so you can make your code public, so every time someone actually knows about actually gets the repository link, they can go to the link and use it, right? Something like that. So what you do, if when you are using GitHub, where basically you have some sort of repository and you are just making it public, and maybe one of your friends, and maybe you have a handle of like XYZ. So one of your friends do know about your GitHub, so they just went to your GitHub and they can find out your repository and so on. So if you just make it public, anyone can access that. That's the risk, right? Because maybe someone who if you just make it public, it will be like out of Azure, right? Anyone from your or the competition team can actually get access to it, right? So what we can do here is, you can just share it within that. That's basically Vnet sharing. This is what we are basically, Vnet peering. Okay, so what is the important factor out here? The important factor is, as it is like when you're sharing that, it is within Azure, right? You can see within Azure, so it is you don't need to worry about like the security issues, right? So there is multiple things you don't need to worry about, so Microsoft will take a look into it. Okay, the network topology, where there is one virtual network that is accessible by other virtual network, and none of the other networks are connected, is referred as a hub and spoke topology. The shared virtual network is like a hub in a bicycle wheel, and other networks are like spokes managing from the hub. Well, we don't need to lower it. Okay, the solution to implement. Okay, so what we can do, we can do, because the subscriptions are all assigned to the same Azure Active Directory tenant, and all the networks are in Azure, virtual network peering is a recommended method for connecting the virtual networks. Okay, so I haven't drawn about the subscription. So assume that there is a subscription which is subs 1, which this is subs 2, and this is subs 3. So if all of these are basically part of one unique subscription, you can say Azure Active Directory. Okay, just something like that. Okay, so as it is within, it is just connected with one single actual directory nano, so you can just use VNet sharing so that everyone can actually get access to the VNet. Okay, so said like recommended method connecting the virtual network. Oh, peering is established between pairs of virtual networks. Once a peering connection is established, they appear as one network for connectivity purpose. Devices in each network can communicate with device in other network using private IP addresses. So every just to mention, okay, so like once we have connected these, okay, so if we want to actually from developer team, and there are maybe lots of resources, if we want to use any of the services from here to here, we can have our own private, we will surely have our own private IP addresses. We can just use those. For this we have a private IP, for this we have a private IP. We will just use those and connect over it. Okay, that's a good thing. The two networks can be in different regions. Okay, this is referred as global pairing if the two networks are in different regions. Maybe so. What about the regions? It's basically assuming that it's maybe the region India, but the networks etc. that can be far away. Basically using the Azure space, obviously no issues. But maybe this is in India and this is in Australia. What can, this is not an issue, right? Because you are basically using Azure. So then in that case you are calling it global peering. Okay, global peering traffic also stays in Microsoft's private backbone, so that's important. So we don't need to worry about the traffic or security. Peering is not transitive, meaning if network A has paired with network B, the network B has paired with and okay, network A has paired with network B and network B has paired with network C, then traffic originating in network A cannot transit through network B to destinations in network C. Interesting one, right? That means if like we have network A and network B to network C, no issues. So traffic originating in network A cannot transit through network B. This is desired for scenario to isolate different departments workloads. Okay, so what they're meaning is like now you can see we have connection between network, assume that this is network A, this is network B, and this is network C. So how we can do, like if we just pair it, network A, network B, we can pair that and we can connect that. So one interesting factor is like obviously we can connect, but we can also do this stuff, right? We can just connect with one single thing and we can just connect with this one, this network, like this networks. Okay, we already had this networks, right? We are just connected with these ones and these ones, so basically everyone can access to it. So what it was meaning, like the previous thing we understood, like a traffic from here to here, maybe our goal is to come from here to here, so the traffic won't go from B. Okay, so comments on the solution. Okay, the virtual network peering solution would not apply if any of the following were true. If there were more departments than the maximum number of peering per virtual network, then there would not be enough peering available in the shared hub. If one spoke was an on-premises network, a virtual network gateway would be required to support either site-to-site VPN or express route. So we have previously learned about site-to-site VPN, express route, and so on. So we just don't need to actually focus on this. Okay, let's move on and learn about the virtual network. Okay, let's move on. Virtual network. Let's go and search about virtual networks. Okay, we have just found out the virtual networks. Okay, shared Vnet. Okay, so yeah, shared Vnet. So read the details provided by the light. Let's just go here and we can check it out. It is basically like now pressing that you got something like this box. It is basically called blade. Okay, so you can see the resource group is this one, location is South Central US, subscription is something, you don't need to focus over that. Subscription ID is also you don't need to focus. Address space is something you look into. DNS server flow, BGP community string, I don't need to focus on that, let it be. Okay, it is important to plan the address space when creating peering connection. The address space of peer network must not overlap. Okay, you can also see network interface name shared BM900 in the connected devices table after clicking department shared. Okay, the device is in shared VNet subnet. Virtual network can divide it into multiple subnets that are allocated sections to the address space to help logically organize systems in the network. Reverse column to overview blade. Okay, let's just move on. Now we can see network interface connected. Let's go. So here, this is basically what we're learning. Okay, private endpoint, shared VNet, log tags, settings. Yeah, connected devices, shared VM900. It's a network interface. Okay, shared VNet, VM900. If you just press it and want to know about what it is, same resource group, location. For here, you can see the private IP before is after that 10.0.0 right? Previously, we saw the shared VNet. So what is the shared VNet? I'm going to make you understand. Don't worry. It's like 10.0.0.016. Okay. Don't worry about that. We'll just look into that. But yeah, first of all, we just go through what is out here for us. Type network security group in the search bar. Network security group. Click shared VM network security group to reveal the network security group rules. Okay, let's just go. Sorry. Yeah, network security groups. That's great. So here we have network security groups. So okay, so that's an interesting factor. So let's understand what's happening. Inbound, that means traffic that is going to insert. Okay, inbound, this is priority default hello outbound. Okay, we don't need to understand that. This is basically the routing table, you can say, like what is the protocol, this is basically TCP, and these are basically virtual and so on. Not that much of a must. Here you can see NSGS can be applied on virtual network subnets or network interfaces. NSGS have prioritized inbound and outbound firewall rules for traffic. These rules that mentions people. It is if it is the shared network has one. Okay, the shared wonderful rule that allowed inbound traffic from any source in the address range. This is important. The shared VM NSG, okay, has one default rule that allows inbound traffic on TCP, inbound traffic on this protocol, which is basically TCP. Any traffic can come to here in this protocol, this address. This an address range is this. Okay, click on network interfaces to see the network interface connected NSG. It's the same. The network interface, yeah, network interface, you can just see this is the same one we just previously saw. So this is basically security group. Okay, network security group. This is a what I would say is a network interface, and previously we also saw with our shared VNet, we also have this thing, the same thing, this network interface again. So what is the connection? We'll know. No worries, just keep some patience. Okay, click shared VM and go back to shared VM network interface blight, whatever it is. Okay, what they're saying in the overview, click on shared VM that network interface attached to view its detail attached to. We do previously just the mentioned one. The shared VM has these network interface connected. At the same time, the network security group has this network interface connected. Okay, just for our clearance, we can understand. So what is this shared VM? VNet. Okay, we'll learn about it gradually. Okay, yeah, the image has been provided. Let's just copy and use it. That's for our betterment. Okay, great. So here you can see, this is Azure, the whole space. Okay, this is a shared virtual machine. Okay, this is a virtual machine, and it has some sort of SSH22 with the connector, so that anyone can actually get access to it. Okay, and the address for it is like, this is the private IP address, 10.0.0.100. So this is the IP address that is used, like maybe there is another VM out here, so to connect from this to this, they will basically use this IP address, this location or something. So this is virtual machine VM. This is a security group. Okay, security group, NSG. So allow SSH from this. So it basically gives us like allow SSH from this address. Okay, from this address we can use SSH. Okay, also the whole thing is part of a subnet. Okay, and this is something we're looking into, shared virtual network. Okay, shared VNet, which is like 10.0.0/16. okay, so this shared VNet is basically exactly this one. Okay, so now to keep you like make you understand what it is, how it works, just let me clear. In Azure we have basically we can have virtual networks. We call it VNet. Previous we did understand it by this one. Okay, every VNet has some sort of IP address. Okay, just to make it clear, so every Azure has basically some sort of maybe had VNet or something. Within VNet we can have subnets. Okay, multiple subnets we can have. Basically we do have default subnet, but actually when we create a virtual network, automatically Azure creates a default one, and we can also create our own. So just to compare, you can see this is a shared virtual network. So what is this shared? Just we have given it the name. Why? Because we want to share this virtual network with other resources. Okay, so we've just created this one. So, and there is a subnet. Within the subnet we basically has some sort of resources. Okay, these are some sort of two resources, just as in that, no issues. This is our task. Okay, so this is basically this one, this shared VNet. Okay, okay, now in the search bar, Azure portal, enter virtual machine services. Great, we're just going to create some virtual machines. Let's go and check this out. Azure virtual machine. So we are going to create some virtual machines. Let's go. That's the virtual machine. And project details, resource group, ensure the labs resource group beginning with cal. Okay, resource group, this one. This is the resource group basically used. We can see the previously we are talking about virtual machine, VNet, and so on. Everything was part of this resource group. Okay, and if you don't know about resource group, what is resource group, why we are using the same resource group, you should see my previous videos. Okay, on what is virtual network, what is resource group, what is region and zones and so on. Okay, let's go back to it. Okay, so this virtual machine should have the name. Great, dev1001. South Central US. South Central US was again used previously. I have seen that. Available options, no infrastructure required, security standard. Security standard, no infrastructure. Okay, standard. Great. And we're basically using CentOS based. I'm just basically going to copy paste this one so that I can search it easily, otherwise it's going to be tough for me. Just pasting this one. Did I find anything? No, I don't think so. So Ubuntu server, no. see all images. Let's look into it. Do we have anything? No. Let me check this, as we don't have anything named with it. So let's check CentOS. What was the thing? Best 7.9. Okay. Oh, where do we have that? HPC. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I got it. So CentOS best 7.9. So yeah, 7.9. Okay. So we have CentOS best 7.9 x 64 Gen 2. Okay. And size, click see all sizes B1. Oh, you just know about that. See also this is going to use the B1. B1 basically for the cheapest one. Okay. B1. Okay, standard B1 is this is basically size, memory size. Now for the administrator account, like authentication, we are basically using password. So what is this? Because to get into this virtual machine, we need some. We are basically getting some passwords. Okay. So let's just assign some username. The username should be student out here. Student, great. The password should be this ones. Just copy paste this one. This one, great. Let's talk about the networking now. Inbound port rules, public inbound. There's nothing we need to know. Okay, none. Great. So this is something it will look into. And we go to the disk. We are basically using standard SSDs for the disk. And from here, standard SSD. Okay. For networking, we have to look into something. Okay, networking. So for networking, we are going to create one. So in the create virtual machine blade, just going to create one. So as I previously talked about the department, these are basically some virtual machines we're creating along with some Vnet. Okay, so this one, right? Let's just look into the create virtual machine, right? Virtual network. In the create virtual network blade, into the following rules, then click OK. Okay, create new. Dev. Address range should be this one. Okay, this is, I don't know why, but this is something why we have this one. We're basically creating this one. This is not what we're looking into, right? Address range should be this one and subnet. Okay, we just need to remove these ones. Okay, address range should be this one. Okay, we're just creating this one. And subnet, for the subnet we will have dev vms. Oh, okay. Subnet name and address range, this later. Okay. Okay, the value must not be empty, invalid anon. Okay, we're just going to assign some addresses with it too. Okay, perfect for us. Okay, so what it is, so basically if you just look into here, we're basically creating this one, these departments. So we were provided this shared virtual network. We're basically creating these ones, and maybe we are going to connect that. So I'm assuming that one. Let's check this out. Okay, so create a virtual. So here you can see this one. Okay, and virtual network. Okay, what is that? All the fields virtual network and set. Okay, network interface, creating virtual machine network, dev vms. Oh yeah, we are done with that. So in the next management, click the next monitoring, management, monitoring. We just came up here. So what we have to set, boot diagnosis, check the options for enable with custom storage, with the custom storage. So storage account, so we have been provided that. Click on the tags. Okay, do we need that was created storage account? We also can check this out from here, the tags. So for the tags, we're basically creating some department. Is basically department, and it's basically development department. Okay, I previously given you the example, right? Resources is select all. Oh, selected all. That's great. Okay, no issues with that. Then review plus create. Okay, so we are basically creating a virtual machine which will have some Vnet. So it's exactly going to be this one, a virtual. It's basically, so this is basic exactly Vnet, within that way virtual machine. This is how it works. But in general, you saw it is funny that we were basically create a virtual machine, and within that we were setting the network. But in general, the network is basically bigger than the virtual machine. Within a network we can have multiple virtual machines. Okay, okay, we're just going to create this one. Okay, so here the fun fact. So now you can see we had a shared virtual network. Now we have another virtual network, and you can see it is called dev. We just set it dev virtual network, and we also had some subnet out here. Okay, this is the address we did put, right? You just saw, like, we added this one, a network we created for the virtual machine. We actually created this one. So yeah, that is it. Within that, obviously, we have the virtual machine. Now you can see this virtual machine where we started with creating this virtual machine, then we set this virtual network, and we did set the subnet. So this is how this world works, or the world of cloud works. So maybe you can also there's another way of creating a network. Like, you can start with creating a virtual network, and then you can also create some VM within it. Also, you can start with creating virtual machine, and then we can end up creating the virtual network as well. So there is no problem. We can start from like upper level to lower level to upper level. There's no issues with that. Okay, start checking. Let's see if we have done that. So yeah, that's great. Let me check this one. Okay, so it's getting checked. Yes, great, we have passed the checks. That means we have done our task. Now it has been said, like, in the deployment overview blade, click on go to resources, go to the overview, blade of dev. Okay, so it is basically for the dev one. Networking. Operations, monitoring, diagnosis, setting, and so on. Yeah, we did set those. Okay, so let's just check this out. Okay, into the deployment overview. Blade, click on go to resource, go to the overview blade. Okay, let me check go to resource. Click on serial console. Yeah, here it is, serious console. Okay, preparing console connection. Okay, so write in oh sorry, wait a minute. Google running and press enter to display login part. Okay, it's basically working with it. Enter the admin credentials. So these are okay. Now we are going to access our virtual machine. Now like these are the credentials we use to when we're creating the virtual machine. If we just provide this login password, so now the command prompt will understand, okay, this is basically the administrator who wants to play with it or make some changes to it. Okay.